From those design gates, procurement can expand its scope to include explicit threat modeling expectations. Threat modeling is the structured analysis of how a system could be attacked and how those threats are mitigated. Including this expectation in supplier agreements sets a shared standard of foresight. For example, a service provider might be required to present its threat models during early design reviews, showing how it anticipates and addresses abuse cases. This practice helps buyers judge not only the supplier's awareness of risk, but also the discipline of its engineering process. Many weaknesses that later require patches can be avoided if threats are identified early. Making threat modeling part of procurement ensures that defensive thinking begins long before deployment. Once foundational design and security expectations are set, organizations often classify suppliers using risk scoring and tiering models. Supplier risk scoring quantifies exposure based on factors like service criticality, data sensitivity, and past performance. Tiering then groups suppliers into categories that determine the depth and frequency of oversight. For example, a high-tier supplier handling regulated data might face quarterly reviews, while a low-tier supplier providing non-critical tools may only require annual reporting. This method helps allocate limited assurance resources intelligently. Without tiering, all suppliers are treated the same, leading to wasted effort or overlooked risk. Scoring transforms assurance into a measurable, prioritized process where attention matches potential impact. From there, external assurance frameworks add structured rigor by referencing established standards. Suppliers may align with frameworks such as the Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program or International Organization for Standardization Security Certifications. These frameworks define scoping boundaries and provide third-party validation of control maturity. However, a common mistake is to treat such certifications as comprehensive guarantees. In practice, they represent snapshots within defined scopes. Acquisition teams must still verify whether those scopes align with their own risk boundaries. For example, a supplier's certification might exclude subcontractor environments that process sensitive data. Understanding these limitations allows organizations to use external frameworks intelligently, combining independent validation with targeted due diligence. Another advanced area of focus is component authenticity and anti-tamper control. Authenticity ensures that hardware or software received is genuine, unaltered, and sourced through trusted channels. Anti-tamper mechanisms detect or prevent unauthorized modification. These protections are vital when global supply chains introduce many potential insertion points for counterfeit or compromised components. Imagine a network device shipped with altered firmware. Authenticity checks using cryptographic validation would expose the tampering before installation. Acquisition contracts should specify such validation steps and define acceptable evidence, such as signed manifests or secure chain of custody logs. By integrating authenticity assurance, organizations protect both integrity and confidence in what they deploy. In parallel, open-source governance becomes essential because nearly every modern system includes community-developed components. Governance involves tracking which open-source elements are used, how they are maintained, and what support plans exist if a project becomes inactive. Without oversight, dependencies can linger unpatched or unsupported. Procurement teams should require suppliers to declare open-source use and to describe update and replacement strategies. A common scenario involves a popular library that suddenly loses maintainers. A vendor must then demonstrate how it will sustain security updates independently. Managing open-source reliance is less about restricting use and more about ensuring responsible stewardship. It turns a shared ecosystem into a controlled, transparent asset rather than an unmanaged risk. Continuing with lifecycle discipline, patch cadence and remediation velocity measure how quickly suppliers respond to identified issues. Patch cadence tracks regular update intervals, while remediation velocity measures response time to specific vulnerability. A vendor that issues patches monthly and fixes critical issues within days demonstrates healthy responsiveness. These metrics give buyers quantifiable insight into a supplier's operational maturity. For example, comparing average remediation times across suppliers may reveal who consistently meets contractual timelines and who falls behind. Incorporating cadence and velocity into scorecards encourages continuous improvement and accountability. Over time, these measures foster a culture of timely maintenance rather than crisis-driven fixes. Related to patch performance, defect density and escape rate offer deeper insight into software quality. Defect density measures the number of defects per unit of code, while escape rate tracks how many issues reach production after testing. Together, they show whether development and testing processes are working effectively. Suppose a service provider's escape rate increases while defect density stays constant. That signals inadequate testing coverage rather than poor coding practices. By tracking these metrics across projects, buyers can spot trends and trigger process reviews. In mature acquisition programs, quality metrics complement security metrics, revealing not just whether a product is safe, but whether it is built with precision and care. Equally important is non-conformance tracking and closure aging, which measure how long unresolved issues remain open. A non-conformance occurs when a supplier fails to meet a contractual or control requirement, such as missing evidence delivery or late remediation. Closure aging tracks the time between identification and resolution. Long aging periods may indicate process bottlenecks or resource constraints. For example, if audit findings remain unaddressed for months, it undermines confidence in the entire assurance cycle. Monitoring closure aging helps acquisition teams intervene early and maintain accountability. It also encourages suppliers to embed timely correction into their standard workflows rather than viewing compliance as periodic cleanup. As acquisition programs expand, maintaining audit readiness without overwhelming suppliers becomes a balancing act. Continuous evidence collection and smart automation help reduce fatigue. Instead of demanding full documentation on short notice, organizations can establish shared repositories where suppliers upload evidence regularly. This approach supports real-time visibility while minimizing repetitive requests. For instance, using a common portal for test results and certifications ensures that audit teams can verify compliance anytime. By building readiness into normal operations, both parties save effort and maintain transparency. The goal is steady assurance, not last-minute scramble. When audits confirm what everyone already knows, the system is working as intended. Finally, the roadmap for improving terms and measurements ties all advanced topics together. Each contract renewal is a chance to refine definitions, tighten metrics, and retire obsolete clauses. Progress may involve adopting new indicators, such as time to validate patches or accuracy of SBOM submissions. Teams should review which measures genuinely predict risk reduction and which add noise. Collaboration between procurement, legal, and technical teams keeps metrics meaningful and enforceable. Improvement is incremental. One contract adds evidence gates, the next adds performance scoring, and over time, the organization's acquisition posture becomes stronger and clearer. This ongoing refinement sustains maturity. In closing, measurable and resilient acquisition practice is the hallmark of a secure enterprise. Advanced metrics and structured evaluation transform procurement into an adaptive system that learns and improves. By connecting evidence, measurement, and accountability, organizations gain visibility far beyond compliance. They start to anticipate issues instead of merely reacting to them. When each supplier relationship is supported by transparent metrics and continuous dialogue, assurance becomes durable. In the end, maturity in acquisition assurance is not about complexity. It is about clarity, consistency, and the will to measure what truly matters. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit DailyCyber.News.